Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for today's video. This is obviously just going to be a quick one going through the new patch notes that we have got for part 2 of the Storybook Vale DLC in Disney Dreamlight Valley, and part 2 is called the Unwritten Realms. So we're just going to go through, it's not a very long patch note as expected. It's definitely not as long as our base game updates tend to kind of have everything broken down, which I completely expected because obviously it is just part 2 of the DLC. There's going to be a lot of stuff that they're not going to tell us about, but I'm hoping it has a lot of content. The first part had quite a lot going on, so I'm really hoping that part 2 definitely has the same amount, which is something that I'm looking forward to a lot. So I wanted to break down the patch notes and go through everything that they have put on here. As I said, it's not a huge amount, but we are all very excited still, I would imagine anyway. So let's get started. Starts with Hay Valley Villages. This week we conclude the final chapter of our paid expansion pass, Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Vale, with part 2, the Unwritten Realm. Return to the Vale to rescue some old pals and befriend a couple of characters from Disney's Sleeping Beauty. Swipe your royal net at new evasive snippets, solve new challenging puzzles, and discover the forces behind all of this unrest. This update will also include base game bug fixes for everyone. So if you are someone who doesn't have the DLC but you've got some bugs going on in your main game, or you do have the DLC and still have the bugs, then obviously we will go through those as well, because there isn't a huge amount of them, but there may be one on there that you guys wanted to kind of know about or have an issue with. Storybook Vale Part 2, The Unwritten Realm, obviously arrives on July 9th, 2025 for expansion pass owners. So let's see the new content. So we've got Return to the Vale and descend into the Unwritten Realm, a void of swirling storybook pages, the place where stories go when they're forgotten and come from before they're written. Discover Maleficent and help her avoid being unwritten. So we're definitely going to be doing a lot of questing with her, which I'm very excited about. Obviously we did meet her briefly in part 1, and obviously some people have had her just kind of wandering around their Vale as well, but it's going to be really nice that we are going to be doing a lot of questing with her. Venture into the pages of a storybook to uncover Aurora in an enchanting dream style in addition to her regular look. So obviously we're going to be getting her regular look, which we know is going to be the pink dress, and then we're also going to get a dream style. So I'm curious to know if this is going to be her kind of classic as well blue dress, or if it's going to be more of her kind of OG cottagecore outfit. I think either of these would be great, but it's very exciting to see that we are going to get 2 different looks for her just in the DLC, just by questing with her. So that's going to be very, very fun. I'm excited to see what they choose. Equip your latest royal tool and harness the power of the royal net to catch new evasive snippets, living embodiments of the Lawkeeper's scattered pages. So we know that in addition to the snippets we already have, we are getting some different snippets this time. I think they're black snippets, or maybe grey, of each different type. These are obviously going to be needed to be used for different craftables, new tapestries I'm guessing, and things like that. So those will be around. Obviously we don't know about how they're going to spawn, whether they're going to be difficult to catch. I would assume they're probably going to be the most difficult ones to catch, and whereabouts they're going to spawn. I don't know if maybe they're going to spawn in the Unwritten Realm, and that's kind of the only places you're going to be able to find them. I think that would be an interesting concept, but we'll have to see if doing anything makes them spawn in the main Vale as well. Use new and original snippets to complete these new challenging Lawkeeper Tales tapestries that tell the stories of classic Disney and Pixar films. As I said, we're definitely going to need those to unlock new Lawkeeper Tales. I am so happy that we are getting new tapestries. That was genuinely one of my favourite parts of the DLC part 1, was doing the tapestries. I love the concept of them adding mini games, but Scramble Coin was never quite my thing from the Rifting Time DLC. I never really enjoyed Scramble Coin, and also the rewards being just the little figurines. Yes, they're cool to have, and I've obviously worked my way through getting them, but the rewards from the tapestries to me are much better. I've used so many of them for different things. I think they're really, really, really cool, and the tapestries themselves I found really enjoyable to do. I didn't find them too difficult, so I'm hoping that some of these new ones are obviously, as I said, going to be new and challenging. So I'm excited to see what kind of rewards we get from them, what different movies they're going to pick to include, and what kind of stuff we're going to get from them. We're also going to discover what Maleficent and Hades have hidden up their sleeves, which is a bit of a clue towards the storyline. We're going to team up with new allies to put a stop once and for all to these villainous schemes and save the Vale. Now I'm assuming the new allies is going to be Maleficent and Aurora. That's what I'm going to assume, but to me that's a bit of a weird way to put it, because that makes it seem as though there's going to be even more allies, because obviously in the first part we teamed up with Merida and Flynn, and then obviously the Lawkeeper, and then obviously Hades as well kind of worked with us, even though obviously he was very reluctant. He's still classed as a villain. And this time we obviously know we're going to be doing some stuff with Maleficent and Aurora, but I'm excited to see what they mean by the new allies. I'm assuming it means these two, but I feel like that is maybe something that people are going to read into and be like, wait, does this mean we're getting other characters? Which my brain does kind of go there, so I'll be interested to see if any of you guys got that vibe as well. It also says new special premium shop bundles sold in Moonstones inspired by Aurora and Maleficent will be available for all players. So obviously it's going to be a Maleficent and Aurora themed premium shop. We already know from the lovely leakers what these items are, and I had assumed they would drop alongside the DLC anyway, because they make complete sense to come that day. So I'm very excited to see those. There's a couple of items in there that I'm really excited about, so I'll definitely be picking some of those up. But that is also something to know. If you are not an owner of the DLC, there will still be Aurora and Maleficent style stuff dropping. Also, I realised that I missed a section. It said help Maleficent and Aurora settle into the Vale and complete their friendship quest lines to unlock stunning new items and outfits inspired by their malevolent and benevolent ways. So I'm excited to know that obviously we're going to get the same friendship quests that we always do with them, level up to level 10, and then get some outfits inspired by them for their friendship quest lines. So I'm excited to see if they will kind of have quest lines that will kind of work with each other, or will need each character to be able to do. I feel like that would make complete sense if they kind of tied together really, really well. So that is everything from the new content. Obviously there isn't a huge amount of detail. I feel like they've kind of kept it quite under wraps, which they definitely did with part 1. I feel like when the DLC first dropped, there was so much that wasn't in the patch notes or wasn't kind of explained in the patch notes, which meant it was a really nice surprise when we went in on the first part, because there was a lot that it meant that I was kind of overwhelmed by everything. I felt like they'd surprised us with a lot, and I felt like I really enjoyed it more because of that. So I'm hoping that these ones are going to be the same. They obviously haven't gone into too much detail, and we knew we were getting Maleficent and Aurora anyway, so none of that's been spoiled, but I'm excited to see more of what they've got up their sleeve, and I'm glad they haven't spoiled too much. Now, the final part of the patch note, obviously, is now moving on to top changes and bug fixes. This is for all players, so if you don't have the DLC, then obviously these will be relevant to you as well, and obviously they will fix all these issues that are going on. The first one is to fix an issue where the player would not receive the level 10 reward for getting the max level with the Forgotten. I heard a lot of people saying about this. I personally haven't even got her to level 10 yet, so I haven't had this issue yet, but I know that there's been an issue with the final reward item actually being given to the player, which I think is supposed to be like some sort of dark mystical wings or something. I'm not too sure because I haven't seen anyone with them yet, because obviously there has been that bug. So it's good to know that those people who have got her to level 10, you'll be able to obviously get your reward, and then those of us who are still working on it will get to that and get them. They're also fixing an issue in the healing house quest where Mirabelle won't go to players' houses, fixing an issue where holding the direction arrow while attempting to switch to diagonal mode prevents the mode from updating. I've noticed that when doing pathing. Fix an issue where NPCs may sit in the air near the Peter Pan house. Fix an issue where closing a purchase prompt in the shop would scroll the menu up to a different section. Fix an issue where NPCs with animations that interact with flowers would not have a cooldown. Fix an issue in photo mode where the controller's focus shifts to the poses tab row instead of selecting the sprint pose. Fix an issue where some small vertical lines would appear in the photo mode menu. Fix an issue where items cannot be marked as favourite or hidden via touchscreen when there is more than one item in the catalogue. Some very random bug fixes, but actually not as many as I feel like there usually is in patch notes. I don't know if there's maybe other bugs that people have noticed that aren't in these fixes, which if there are, I hope they get fixed at some point. The only one on here really that I had heard about, and a lot of people were obviously curious about, was the one with the max level of the Forgotten. But if you have obviously had issues with any of these other things, they are obviously going to be fixed and hopefully all sorted for you on Wednesday. So that is everything in the patch notes. As I said, it is a short and sweet one, but I did feel like they would probably keep a lot of it under wraps, which I'm very, very happy about. But I'm so excited to know that we've only got a couple more days until the update drops. I feel like it's been such a long time we've been waiting for part 2, that it feels a bit strange that we're going to be going back to the Vale and exploring it and get these characters. But I'm so excited to finally get Maleficent and obviously get Aurora, explore the storyline with the Vale and complete that, get some new tapestries, some new furniture, and all this kind of new stuff going on. It's going to be bittersweet, I think, to finish the storyline of the Storybook Vale, just because I've loved it so much. But I think it's definitely been a long time coming. So let me know down below if you are excited. What are the things that you're most excited about with the update, and the Vale in general? Mine is probably definitely getting Aurora and Maleficent. I think that's got to be my top thing. I think getting them and questing with them will be really, really fun. But let me know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!